One of you that have been writing in messages this morning, I actually can't keep up with all of the Twitter messages and SMSs and emails that have been coming in, sending your condolences on the loss of Vuyo, a legend, that I think he rightly deserves that title, somebody who made a massive difference here in South Africa in his very short life. He was an individual who I think was one person that managed to use his talent and abilities to the best. And I think that's one lesson that we can learn from this man. He was a type of individual that, for me, would arrive at work in the morning, he'd have an idea and say, this is something that I would like to do. And I promise you by the next week he was doing it. And if there's one thing that we can learn from him, I think that would be it. He did so much, and yet I know there was so much more that he could do. In studio with me now is the SABC Group CEO, Lulama Okobo, who I think as well, on behalf of the SABC, giving sympathies to family and friends, no doubt. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Leanne, and good morning to all of South Africa. Today is indeed probably the most difficult day I've ever had at the SABC. You know, when you have to talk about somebody who was so dear to all, who still had so much to do. I've watched Vuyo's star rise. From 1999, I was already in the broadcast sector myself, but elsewhere. And I marveled at the man's ability to just take on any topic, at how, under tremendous pressure, he still presented the smile. You know, he would still take a moment to joke a little. But also his depth and width of understanding and knowledge of South Africa, for me, is unparalleled. And I know that we have brilliant journalists in this company. And it's sad that we acknowledge people only after they've passed.
Yeah.
I wish it was possible to just go to every single one of you, and perhaps I'm starting with you, Leanne, and your colleagues on the floor today, and those who are busy managing this broadcast, to say thank you. Thank you for who you are, for the dedication you have. You know, it's hard to speak without having tears in my eyes. And I know I should be strong and present this figure, but it's hard to be like that when you're dealing with somebody who was one of you and who was so incredibly dedicated, professional. Didn't matter what it was. If Vuyo had to do it, he did it, and did it to absolutely the best of his ability.
Yeah, yeah.
He leaves a tremendous legacy. And I think for the young people that have watched him and followed him, I think this is a time for them to say, I potentially could be the next Vuyo. I could do better. I'd love to sit next to Leanne and be a legend like Leanne already is herself, without ever replacing Vuyo, but honoring him in my role as a journalist, as an anchor, as somebody who was completely fearless.
Yeah.
You know, one of my lasting memories of him was how politicians, business people, ordinary South Africans would remark at the level of respect and how he treated everybody with dignity. Yeah. He was just one of those people who, regardless of whatever the person may or may not be accused of, would always accord him the dignity that they deserved.
Yeah.
The SABC staff, I think every single one of us, as I walked in this morning, people were in tears, you know. We are all devastated. But I think it's very important to also say we have to be strong for the family, strong for South Africa, as we say in this industry, the show must go on.
Yeah.
And we will continue doing our news, informing and entertaining to the best of our abilities. And if we take what has happened as something that we will catapult us to a level where we honor Vuyo by being what he was, I think we'll have done a great service to South Africa.
Thank you for those kind words. Thank you for talking so beautifully about him. I'm glad that I didn't have to ask you questions. you ran with that one. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
But just a quick
please,
one here.
Please add in.
Just so that the nation knows. I was with a family yesterday.
Yes.
There's a plan for a service here at the SABC on Wednesday.
Good.
We will inform the public as and when we get greater detail. They confirmed yesterday that the funeral is on Friday,
yes,
but the detail also will be brought to the public as soon as possible.
Okay, Leilani, thank you very much. The CEO of the SABC talking to us about Vuyo, his legacy, what he meant to the SABC, what his loss means to the SABC, and of course going forward. Now, as you heard, memorial service planned for Wednesday, funeral is Friday. All those details are going to come. This is the first day. It's Monday. There's a big week ahead of us here.